Greetings from the Ohio University Aquatic Center here in Athens, Ohio. We've got a dual meet on our hands between the Ohio Bobcats and the Akron Zips. Happy to be here for this dual meet alongside Zach Vogler. I'm Sam Hyman on our YouTube stream. Zach, as we get set to go, this is the first time Akron and Ohio are battling it out this season. During the regular season, we spoke to Mason Norman, the head coach of the Bobcats, who emphasized the importance of just kind of building some things before the MAC championships. The regular season doesn't matter as much compared to some of the other sports.
Yes, and this team is built for these dual meets. We talked to Coach Mason earlier, and he talked about depth, and we're going to see a lot of depth. A lot of these heats are a lot of Ohio swimmers compared to a lot of Akron ones. So I think this is going to be a good head-to-head meet. Ohio's coming in here undefeated, and this is going to be their biggest competition of the season.
Absolutely. Akron, a powerhouse in the Mid-American Conference. They've won the MAC championship 9 times over the last 10 seasons under head coach Brian Parisi, who is a 2000 graduate of Ohio University. So our first event is the 200 medley relay. Ohio will be in the odd lanes, Akron in the even lanes. In lane 3, the Bobcats will have Riley Bernstein, Eddie Sawyer, Raphael Anglade, and Katie Baroker. Akron will be in lane 4, 6, and 8 as we get set to go for the 200 medley relay.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Keep your eye on lane 5. They had Mackenzie Grau going last. Usually, I think it was last week they had Meg Voigt going. And Mackenzie Grau is by far their best 50 freestyler, one of the best 50 freestylers they have on the team. And she's going to look to bring it home for this relay today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Meg Voigt was in this position in the 200 medley relay last week. Typically not in this relay, but had a breakout year a season ago, according to head coach Mason Norman. So really cool to see her get that opportunity. But, yeah, Mackenzie Grau, one of the best in the business on this Ohio team. She is Ohio's school record holder in the 200 freestyle and can swim pretty well when she's tired. I think that's something to really emphasize with her stamina in the water. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on here in this 200 medley relay. Looking at the Akron Zips, they have had a couple of really impressive times in the Akron Zips Classic that we'll highlight as this meet goes on.
Yeah, I think that Zips Classic meet for Akron was the best opportunity to swim every event. I mean, they're coming in here with a 1:39.47 as their best time.
Yeah.
Now, we do have to mention, though, and Coach Mason mentioned this with us on Wednesday, they were suited for a lot of their events this season. So I wonder if they were suited for that event at the Zips Classic.
Both teams are unsuited in this dual meet. What is the significance of that?
Well, when you get suited for a meet, it's usually a bigger meet. And you kind of have to you go through the process of shaving, everything like that, just getting ready. And the suits that you have for those suited meets, they are very, very expensive, that's for sure. And they are so tight that it makes you more aerodynamic and lets you go right through the water with ease. Compared to the regular suit that we're seeing here today, it's kind of your basic, nothing really too special about it. I will mention those suited suits, you can only wear those about 3 or 4 times before they will fade out.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're like $500 too. So a lot of money being spent on suited suits.
You've swam in a suited suit.
Oh, yes, many a times. I think I've swam in 2 suited suits, and they are very, very hard to get on. They take a while. I can only imagine for the women how long it took them to get it on. But for us, it took, a long time. You'd even have to use gloves sometimes to get them on.
So we mentioned lane 3 for the Bobcats in the 200 medley relay. For Akron in lane 4, Mia Latimer, Claire Cox, Hannah Trainer, Brianne Trumpauer. In lane 5 for the Bobcats, Allie Schrank, Cassie DeBetta, Gabby Brust, and Mackenzie Grau. That is the A-team that we certainly outlined, and a couple of those swimmers did really well in the MAC championship in 2023. In lane 6, Rebecca Reed, Madeline Dyer, Abby Daniel, an NCAA qualifier from a season ago. Maddie Gatrell, also an NCAA qualifier from a season ago. In lane 7 for Ohio, Morgan Brown, Julia Strine, Peyton Farrell, and Caroline Dunnigan. And for Akron in lane 8, Kendall Craig, Dinika Bosman, Grace Newfer, and Joelle Vogelman. Again, lanes. The even lanes feature Akron. The odd lanes feature the Ohio Bobcats.
And it is really important to look at in that Akron A relay. They are not going with Maddie Cottrell at backstroke, who's a phenomenal backstroker, or Veronica Goreca, who both placed 1 and 2 in the 100 back last year during the MAC championship. They are going with Rebecca Reed. So I wonder if they're going to try to get Veronica Goreca some rest going forward for this event here today.
In the 200 medley relay, you alluded to it. The first stroke is back. It'll be back, breast, fly, and free. In that particular order for the 200 medley relay. Should be certainly exciting stuff. We spoke to Mason Norman, the head coach of the Bobcats, about the 200 medley relay. And Allison Schrank, somebody that he highlighted a ton, the primary 50 and 100 backstroker, was part of the relay squad last year that broke the school record at Max as part of the 400 medley relay. As we get set to go for what should be an intense first event in our dual meets between the Bobcats and the Akron Zips. Again, Ohio will be hosting the MAC championships on between February 28th and March 2nd. So a handful of home dual meets for Ohio to get prepared for that pivotal stretch of time, the MAC championships.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. It's just getting you the best times you can get comfortable in the water before those championship meets where you got to get suited. You got to focus on your particular event. There isn't too much mixing. It's you know your team, you know your relay, you know who's going to swim what, and you just got to go out there and give it the best you got.
Building off the dialogue we had a moment ago, Zach, about the Ohio A relay team in this first event, the 200 medley relay. It's worth mentioning, too, Cassie DeBetta, the best breaststroker on this Bobcats team, an NCAA academic All-American from St. Clairsville. Yeah. It's a small town in Ohio with just one gas station. She holds the third fastest time in the MAC this season with a 100 breaststroke of 1 minute 1:03:23. And the 100 breaststroke this season, she'll be participating in the breaststroke in this 200 medley relay as we get set. And they're off.
Yeah, and I have a lot. I love breaststroke. That's my favorite one. So I'm really excited to watch her kill in this relay.
First, the backstroke in the 200 medley relay. Ohio in the odd lanes, Akron in the even lanes.
That was a great turn by Ohio there in lane 4. Or lane 6, I should say. Akron.
Yeah, Akron
with
lane 6. The lead in lane 6. That is the A team. Rebecca Reed starting off strong for Akron.
Yeah, she had a really good split there, 26-35.
Now Madeline Dyer, it's her turn for the breaststroke in that 6th lane.
Yeah, it looks right here that Cassie's going to try to catch up a little bit, make up some room. You can see her really lunging out there, trying to catch up, and it looks like she's going to do it, make this even going into the butterfly.
Cassie DeBetta, who we talked about, gaining back some of that time with a powerful breaststroke. Now the freestyle, the butterfly. The butterfly, again, watch out for lanes 5 and 6. Those are the two fastest relays. Gabby Brust for the Bobcats in lane 5. In lane 6, it's Abby Daniel, an NCAA qualifier, Zach.
Oh, yeah, here we go. I mean, we're going down. I'm really surprised about how close this is now. And it is going to be a really good testament to see what Mackenzie Grau can do.
Mackenzie Grau, the anchor in the freestyle for Akron. It's Maddie Cottrell, an NCAA qualifier, as they come down the stretch. The final sequence, and Akron touches the line first. It's Maddie Cottrell in the freestyle to close out the 200 medley relay. Ohio's A team comes in second. Mackenzie Grau, good effort, but that was pretty interesting dynamic there, Zach, to feed a breakdown. And we did see the breaststroke from Cassie DeBetta really make up some ground.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we talked about that beforehand. That's what we were excited to see, and she definitely went out there and gave her relay a great shot. I mean, to start the swim meet, I mean, that is a really close time. 0.4 off is a great way to start the meet. And now we got our 1,000-yard freestyle.
1:50.42, the fastest time in the 200 medley relay. All right, here we go. The next event, the 1,000 freestyle, features Ashley Sallows of Ohio, Celia Creviston of Ohio, Morgan Croning, Astrid Halverson, the only Akron swimmer in the 1,000 freestyle. She's in lane 6. Gabby McKee in lane 7. Olivia Morlock in lane 9.
Yeah, this is a really important one that we talk about for depth because there's only one Akron swimmer in this. Obviously, you want to win the heat and get as many points as possible, but you also just are trying. You're almost guaranteed points because there's only one other swimmer in there, so you're guaranteed to get a good amount of points in this event. But getting first is probably what they're looking to do the most right here.
Astrid Halverson, again, the only Akron swimmer in this 1,000 freestyle, and this season she posted a time of 10:27.56. That's 10 minutes, 27 seconds in the Akron Zips Classic. For the Bobcats in the 1,000 freestyle, Gabby McKee holding the fastest time so far this season with a time of 10:16.73 in last weekend's meet against Bowling Green.
Man, she's swimming at back-to-back weekends. I mean, Gabby McKee is one of the most interesting swimmers on this team for me. She is a really good distance swimmer, and Coach Mason talked about it. They don't really have too many distance swimmers, so she is going to have to step up. I think we have the 400 IM today as well, so I'm interested to see if she will be in that. It looks like she is, so she's going to be swimming a lot of distance today, but she can handle it. Now, I will mention, though, Gabby is breathing every stroke. So you'll see that from a lot of distance swimmers when they're going. Sometimes you'll do 1, 2, 3 strokes for like when you're doing in like the 100 or 200, but the 1,000 is very important to get as much oxygen as you can.
And I noticed, too, Gabby McKee, she is in first place right now pretty comfortably. However, Astrid Halverson is knocking on the door in lane 6. Again, the only Akron swimmer in the 1,000 freestyle today. Gabby McKee switching sides with her breathing. She'll breathe on her right side and then turn sometimes to her left side. Yep. Is that a strategy?
Yes, it is. So sometimes it depends. It all depends on kind of like your cadence and your rhythm with it. And she seems to be more comfortable breathing on her left side. As you can see, when she does her turn, she'll be looking at us now. Oh, never mind. She won't. She is staying on that one side. So she is totally switching it up. And now she switches it halfway. So it's kind of an interesting. It's really what you feel most comfortable with. So, I mean, if you wanted to breathe the one side the whole entire time, probably be a lot of stress on your neck and shoulders in that area. But she seems like she's switching it about midway. And then she'll start looking the other way. And there's a lot that goes into that. There's training and what you feel most comfortable with. Where we're seeing a little bit of a different kind of breathing style with Astrid, I believe. So whatever makes you feel comfortable. I mean, it's 1,000 yards. It's a lot of laps.
It's certainly a long time. Again, we're expecting a little over 10 minutes in this event, the 1,000 freestyle. And again, Gabby McKee locked in right now and has built out a pretty solid lead against Astrid Halverson of Akron, which is a good sign. And we talked about it just a moment ago, but her time earlier this season in the 1,000 freestyle, 10 minutes, 16 seconds and change.
Yeah, and it is really important, too, to look at not so much the time overall, but also look at the splits. So right now, Gabby has gone right around 31 in every single 50 that she's done. So she is doing a very good job of pacing this out to get where she wants to go in her overall record. And we'll see what she gets here in this next 50. But she's been right around 31, and I'm assuming 102 is going to be her 100-yard pace, and that's what she's trying to do. And she gets a 31.24 once again. So she's slowly going up, but not enough where it's going to change her overall time by any means.
Astrid Halverson with a split of 31.96 seconds on that most recent split. Gabby McKee did get faster from the MAC championship to her 1,000 freestyle last week.
Oh,
And, yeah, she had a 10:18:54 time in the MAC championships last season. Bumped that down to 10:16.
and that's really important too, because we talked about being suited, and I know she was definitely suited for the MAC championship meet, where she probably wasn't. She hasn't been suited yet this season, so that just shows you how much growth and training she's also doing. And then if we look at lane 5 too, we got Morgan Croning for Ohio. She's out here also beating Astrid, and so it looks like she is going to try to get as many points for Ohio as she can here in this 1,000-yard freestyle.
Morgan Croning this season swam the 1,000 freestyle in 10:24:14. That was in Ohio's first home meet of the season, a dual meet against Illinois State. Mason Norman, the head coach of the Bobcats in his 6th season, told us that this will by far be the toughest test of the season so far. But the record, if you look at Ohio, they're 3-0. That's great and all, but Mason did acknowledge that record does not matter in our league. This is just preparation for the MAC championships. He said our biggest takeaway so far this season is the depth. We don't have as many superstars as Akron, but we are deep in every event, something that you alluded to earlier. We have a bunch of people that can do damage.
Yeah, it starts from the top to the bottom with a team like this. And he talked about it, too. Like, the most important thing for them this season is the growth from last season. So a lot of girls that got to the B finals last season will be able to get to that A finals and hopefully put up more points this year in the MAC championship when they finished 4th last year, so maybe they can get top 3 this year.
Pretty impressive again as Gabby McKee continues with that consistent 31-second split,
Yep.
Zach.
That's training. That is training right there. They definitely put in the work. Distance swimmers will practice a little bit different than sprint swimmers, obviously, because it's a totally different dynamic. So they'll probably be in their own separate lanes during practice, and they will just swim distance, and they will work on those splits all day long, just trying to get as close as they can to actually what they want to be. I mean, there's another 31-37. I really don't see her going over 32 at all, and if anything, she'll probably end up speeding up once she hits the 30-lap mark. But I mean, that is just really impressive to show the coaching and discipline there.
27 laps so far for Gabby McKee as she is in the driver's seat for the Bobcats in the 1,000 freestyle. Coming up next, we'll have the 200 free, which will be quite fascinating to watch. Zita Zoki is a swimmer that we will certainly talk about throughout the course of this dual meet. She is slated to swim in the second heat. There will be 2 heats, actually, in the women's 200 freestyle.
Yeah, Zita Zoki's definitely going to be somebody that we are highlighting next race for sure. She's going to be here for a long time, and she's going to be doing great things for Ohio University.
Yeah, only a freshman as Gabby McKee continues to be in cruise control. Another split of 31 seconds.
Starting to get faster. 31:25 now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing how well she's doing in this event so far. I'm curious to see if she's going to be able to put up a personal best since she already did it last week.
Yeah, 10:16:73 was her fastest time in the 1,000 freestyle, and she did it against Bowling Green.
31:10 now. It's all going lower and lower. I am very impressed with this race today. And then she's got to do the 400 IM too later on in this. So, and she's also doing the 500 freestyle as well.
Now,
so a lot of distance going on today for Gabby McKee.
If you're curious, the school record for Ohio in the 1,000 freestyle was set by Hannah Schlegel, who swam in 2018 with a time of 9:54:32.
Well, looks like she might be a little bit far away from that, but it's good. It would be close. It would be very interesting to see if she could do that unsuited here in a dual meet against Akron. That'd be very, very cool to see. Yeah, it looks like Morgan Croning's also doing a very good job over there too, keeping second, keeping it ahead of Astrid.
Yeah, again, to revisit the lanes here, Ashley Sallows in lane 1 for the Bobcats, Celia Krevison in lane 3, Morgan Croning in lane 5, Astrid Halverson in lane 6, the only Akron swimmer in this event. Gabby McKee, lane 7, Olivia Morlock in lane 9.
Okay, she just went 31:48 in that last split, and she's got two more 50s to go. So we're gonna see what she goes here. Definitely not gonna get the 9:54 from 2018, but she's definitely on pace to get a personal best right here. They ring the bell. This is the last 50.
Last 50 coming up for Gabby McKee.
Now you can see it. You can see her kicking harder. She knows she's almost done. She's going to see those 2 orange rectangles on the side there, and she is going to finish this one strong.
Mason Norman certainly has spoken very highly of Gabby McKee, who also has done some phenomenal work in the Ohio Athletic Department throughout the summer. She's all over the place, working tirelessly, and there she goes as she touches the wall with an unofficial time of 10:20:22.
Morgan Cronin comes in second there. There's two placements above Akron right there in the first event. You can see Gabby McKee there on your screen. She is definitely pretty exhausted. She's got 2 more distance events to go today, so she's going to get ready. Good sportsmanship by Gabby McKee there.
And in lane 9 for the Bobcats, Olivia Morlock able to finish in 4th place. So first place, Gabby McKee, 10:20:22. Second place goes to Morgan Cronin, as you mentioned, with a time of 10:25:45. And in lane 6, Astrid Halverson, 10:29:76.
Yeah, and this team grows the way Coach Mason wants it to. This could be a really good event for them to try to go win in the MAC championship, since there's not as many distance swimmers.
All right. Good work for the Bobcats there, who respond after not getting first overall in the 200 medley relay, as the Ohio fans were sitting right in front of them. Right in front of them. The energy is certainly super high as we get set for the heat, the first heat of the 200 freestyle.
Looks like we could have a possible right in here.
Yeah, one additional swimmer, Mackenzie Grau and Ellie Bawalik, were the 2 on our heat sheet. And it's Mackenzie Grau in lane 5, Ellie Bawalik in lane 6.
Yeah, Mackenzie Grau already did the 50 in the medley relay a little bit earlier, so she's coming in here, got a little bit of rest, and she's looking to put up a good time here for the Bobcats. I mean, she is one of, by far, the best freestylers they have on this team. And her and Meg Voigt have been kind of going back and forth with the relay. But Mackenzie, like we talked about with the rest and situation, she could be set to lead this Bobcat team in the freestyle for a lot of the events, as she did very, very well last year.
Mackenzie Grau on the near side of your screen, just making that turn, and has a slight edge over Ellie Bawalik. Again, this is the 200 freestyle, heat 1 of 2. And Mackenzie Grau, who has, again, been very good this season and in her career, along with Caroline Dunnigan. Those 2 are very interchangeable when it comes to the 200 medley relay spot at the freestyle position. Grau is Ohio's school record holder in the 200 freestyle, and very good when she's tired, and that's probably why we've already seen her swim in 2 events.
Yeah, I think that's why they put her in the relay today and then let her swim this 200 free. And you can just tell by her pacing right now, she is doing very, very well. She's breathing a lot. She's kind of got almost a little gallop going, where you put your arm down really much, like a lot, and you kind of go up a little bit with each stroke. But it's working out really well for her right now. Pretty good method going forward.
A graduate student from Mason, Ohio, Mackenzie Grau, a comfortable lead right now. And she touches the wall first with a time of 1:57.70 in the 200 freestyle.
That was a really good swim for her right there.
Her fastest 200 freestyle time this season, 1:53.29 against Illinois State. Today she goes 1:57.70. And now we quickly move to Heat 2 in the 200 freestyle. Lane 1, Ohio, Emma Likens. Lane 2, Carrie Caniglia of Akron. Lane 3, Gabrielle Loring of Ohio. Lane 4, Akron's Joelle Vogelman. Lane 5, Zita Zoki, the talented freshman for the Bobcats. In lane 6 of Akron as they get set to go, Julia Lauder. Lane 7, Peyton Binns of Ohio. Lane 8, Rebecca Reed of Akron. And lane 9, Anna McGrath of Ohio as they are off.
And Zita Zoki's going to be the one we watch here. She lives in Hungary, but she is Serbian, but she's done most of her time internationally. So one of the biggest differences between international swim and this dual meet, regular season kind of swimming is the yardage. So in international, they do it by meters. So it's also referred to as long course. So it's very, very long and not a lot of turns. So in this event, the 200-yard freestyle, she is turning 3 times. And Coach Mason talked about it on Wednesday that she's been practicing it because it's been really tough to go from international to this. And she feels like she's turning constantly because there's so many turns compared to the 100 meters or 50 meters that they do over in international play. But she's a freshman, and she's got plenty of time to learn, and they're seeing really good things from her in practice. So I'm really, really excited to see her going forward.
Rebecca Reed is pushing her right now in lane 8. That is an Akron swimmer. Akron swimming in the even lanes, but it is Zita Zoki who has a small lead as she's accelerating. She holds the 7th fastest MAC time in the 100 freestyle this season. Her final turn with 50 yards to go.
And you can see everybody on the side of the pool getting crazy, getting hype about this race right here. Obviously, Rebecca Reed wasn't expected to go and do as well as she was in this heat because she's in lane 8. And the slower swimmers are usually on the outside, but she's doing a very good job of getting Zita Zoki a run for her money, and now she pulls away.
Yeah, look at this. Cruising to a first-place finish, Zita Zoki, the freshman.
Personal best on the season. Personal best on the season.
1:51.
Yeah, that is a great time.
A second-place finish for the Bobcats as well. Gabrielle Loring in lane 3. And Akron takes third place, Rebecca Reed in lane 8.
It is always interesting to think about Rebecca Reed being in there and being in the 8th lane and finishing third. Do you think maybe she had something to do with that, giving so much pressure to Zita Zoki there at the beginning, that Zita Zoki may have saw her out of the corner of her eye and was like, I need to speed it up. And then she got personal best there.
Interesting, too. Typically the faster swimmers are in the middle lanes, but Rebecca Reed was in lane 8.
Yeah.
So now we transition to the 100 backstroke. Riley Bernstein in lane 3 of Ohio. Maddie Gattrall, an NCAA qualifier for Akron in lane 4. Allie Schrank of Ohio in lane 5. Cameron Leydig of Akron in lane 6. Morgan Brown, lane 7, Ohio. Breanne Trumpauer, Akron, lane 8. And Mel Schweikert of Ohio in lane 9 in the 100 back.
So this is an interesting event, and I'm just seeing this now. Maddie Gattrall did very, very good this season. Last season, she finished first in the backstroke in MAC championships. But her teammate, Veronica Gureca, is also a really good backstroker. And usually they would kind of double up in this event and make it win. But Veronica Gureca is not swimming today. So that's going to be a couple of points for Akron that they're going to lose because of her amazing backstroke. But I think Gattrall is going to do a good job here at sealing the deal.
Yeah, as you mentioned, dominant in the MAC championships. And once again, in lane 4, it's Maddie Gattrall who wins the 100 back with 55:46 mark. And the Ohio Bobcats take second and third place. Second place.
And all those points matter.
Yeah.
All those points matter.
Second place goes to Allie Schrank, and third place goes to Riley Bunstein.
Yeah, and that's an event that Coach Mason knew going into this that Control was going to win this one. I mean, she won it by a pretty good margin there, unsuited, everything like that. So, but for them, they just got to move on and get ready for this breaststroke.
.100 breaststroke, as you mentioned. 10 swimmers, a packed set of lanes here. And they're off. Lane 1, Ohio, Eddie Sawyer. Lane 2, Giovanni Capabianca of Akron. Lane 3, Alex Wayner, Ohio. Lane 4, Akron's Claire Cox. Lane 5, Emily Ellsworth, Ohio. Lane 6, Madeline Dyer, Akron. Lane 7, Cassie DeBetta, Ohio. Sarah Bazo, Akron. Lane 8. Lane 9, Julia Strine, Ohio. And lane 10, Danica Bosman, Akron. The final 50.
Yeah, this is a really good race here for Ohio. Emily Ellsworth is doing a very good job of taking control of this heat. And it looks like in lane 7 over there, Cassie's doing a really good job backing up, and she's going to give her a little bit of a run for her money right here in this pullout. Cassie is one of the best pullouts I've seen in a long time. And look how far she got on that, taking advantage. Looks like she's going to make this one pretty close, but looks like Emily's going to have this one. No
Emily Ellsworth touches the wall first. Ellsworth holds the 5th fastest time this season coming into the weekend in the 100 breaststroke at 103.86, and she beats that mark here today, Zach, with
that's
a
crazy.
time of 102.65. So she goes from 103.86 to 102.65 and wins the 100 breaststroke for Ohio.
Yeah, not only did she win that event, but Ohio got 1, 2, 3 in that. So that's a lot of points for Ohio against Akron. But what an impressive swim by Emily Ellsworth here today. And you can see her hugging and stuff behind the blocks. That's awesome. Good for her.
Really impressive stuff, no doubt about it. Last season, Emily Ellsworth posted a time of 103.94 for her fastest time. That wasn't even in the MAC championships. That was against Miami. So she clearly is making a significant step forward in the 100 breaststroke.
Yeah, we've seen that with a lot of swimmers here today. Ohio's been doing a really good job in the offseason, it looks like, taking care of business.
Onward to the 200 fly. So in the 200 fly, lane 2, Abby Daniel, Akron. Lane 3, Bella Arbaugh, Ohio. Lane 4, Grace Nuffer, Akron. Lane 5, Ohio, Raphael Anglide. Lane 6, Hannah Trainer, Akron. Lane 7, Peyton Farrell, Ohio. Lane 8, Kendall Craig, Akron. And lane 9, Gabby Brust, Ohio.
One swimmer I like to watch out for here, and you can see it on your screen, is in lane 2, Abby Daniel. She did a very, very, very good job last season, putting up a lot. She set a meet and team record in 100 butterfly at the MAC championship last season, and it looks like she's going to pull out with the outside smoke in this heat. She's going to be the outside smoke, and that's going to be like the furthest lane to the side. Somebody you got to watch out for, and it looks like that's who they're going to have to watch out for in this race.
Gabby Brust, a stalwart, according to Mason Norman, in the fly. Gabby has been on the 200 and 400 medley relay since she got here at Ohio. Not big in stature, but super fast in the water, according to head coach Mason Norman.
That's one of the amazing things about swimming sometimes. And you see it in other sports like football, basketball, height and like physical attributes are really important. But here, swimming, physical attributes mean a little bit, but you can be totally different sizes and be great at the exact same thing.
And Abby Daniel with a pretty comfortable lead in lane 2 on the near side for the Zips.
The record is 51. Well, she got it in the 100 fly last year, so we're going to see if she can get maybe a record here in the 200.
This, again, is the 200 butterfly. The Akron school record is 155.98, set by Sarah Watson in 2021 in the MAC championships. Abby Daniel with a time of 2:02.42, so not quite 155.98, but My goodness.
She keeps on swimming like this, though. She is definitely going to get close to that record by MAC championship time this year.
A second place finish for the Bobcats in lane 5. It was Rafael Anglad.
Yep, and that third place finish by Peyton Farrell in lane 7. And then next up, we got the sprint event, 50 freestyle. This is going to be a quick one.
Down and back.
Down and back.
So in the 50 freestyle, Caroline Dunnigan, lane 1, Ohio. Callie Parks, lane 2, Akron. Mackenzie Grau, lane 3, Ohio. Mia Latimer, Akron, lane 4. Emma Forbes, Ohio, lane 5. Aislinn Holder, Akron, lane 6. Katie Baroker, Ohio, lane 7. Brianne Trumppower, Akron, lane 8. Meg Voigt, Ohio, in lane 9. A quick one, so if you blink a couple times, you're going to miss it. Here we go.
It's going to be really important to watch how many times these swimmers breathe, too. I know one of the important things is having, if you look right now, nobody is taking a breath yet. They took one breath in between the start, and they'll probably take one more on the way back. That's how quick this event is going to go.
A fast one coming down the stretch. Looks to be pretty close. And
wow,
Ohio.
what a finish. Wow, that was an incredible finish right here by Mackenzie Grau. She reached out for that one over lane 5.
Mackenzie Grau in lane 3 with a time of 23:85. So under 24 seconds in the 50 freestyle.
Yeah, and that looks like it's going to be the best time on the season for any of the Ohio swimmers.
Mackenzie Grau previously this season, 24:18 last weekend against Bowling Green. So to your point, yep, she is able to beat that time. And this 50 freestyle.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of personal bests here for Ohio today. They definitely want to take this win over Akron this season.
And looking back at last season, Mackenzie Grau in the MAC championship raced the 50 freestyle in a time of 23:19.
Yeah, so far in this meet, it has been a very, very good job of Ohio gaining as many points as they can. Akron obviously has won a couple of events here and there with Maddie Cottrell going in the 100 back. But, yeah, this has been a great meet so far.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next will be 3-meter diving. Ohio and Akron. The dual meet continues here from the Ohio University Aquatic Center. We will be back for 3-meter diving next, live on YouTube. Welcome back to the Ohio University Aquatic Center here in Athens, Ohio. We have completed a handful of events already, getting set for the 3-meter dive. Back with Zach Vogler, I'm Sam Hyman. Zach, let's quickly revisit the previous events so far in the 200 medley relay. It was Akron's A team of Rebecca Reed, Madeline Dyer, Abby Daniel, and Maddie Gatrall, but the Bobcats pushed Akron down the stretch with their A-team, Allie Schrank, Cassie DeBetta, Mackenzie Grau, and Gabby Brust. In the 1,000 freestyle, Gabby McKee taking first place. Mackenzie Grau, first place in the 200 freestyle in Heat 1. Zita Zoki, first place in Heat 2 of the 200 freestyle, the freshman. Akron's Maddie Gatrall claims the spot in the 100 backstroke. Ohio's Emily Ellsworth wins the 100 breaststroke. Abby Daniel of Akron takes care of business in the 200 butterfly. And in the 50 freestyle, Mackenzie Grau wins it for Ohio. What was your biggest takeaway from the first several events?
I think my biggest takeaway is we knew that going into this, Akron was going to win a couple of events. But I think Ohio has done a very good job. As you mentioned, they won a lot of events. Not only that, but they placed 1, 2, 3 in a couple of events. So it would be interesting to me when we get an update on what the point total is going into this.
All right, so for the 3-meter dive that's about to begin, Akron will send a diver out first. The order is as follows: Paige Bush of Akron, followed by Savannah Boss of Ohio, Elizabeth Noble, Akron, Maddie Montalbano of Ohio, Laurel Smith, Akron. Those are the first 5 divers in the 3-meter dive. So first up, it is Paige Bush of Akron.
Looks like a pretty good dive to me. Looks like Akron was really happy about that one. They're cheering a lot.
Yeah, a couple of claps from the Zips. Akron's diving coach is Mark Cahalane, and Ohio's diving coach is Talisa Lemke.
And here goes Savannah Boss.
Freshman Savannah Boss, and the crowd loves it, and so does this Ohio team. Worth mentioning that Talisa Lemke is in her first full year as Ohio's diving coach. She came here as a film student and then asked Mason Norman to volunteer. That shows she's not only coaching, she's still pursuing her master's in coaching and film.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's something you don't see every day.
Elizabeth Noble of Akron set to dive. Again, the 3-meter diving happening right now.
Looks like she landed a little bit on her back there. She got the tuck pretty closely. That's one of the most important things in diving when you're doing a dive like that, is to make sure you keep tucked and just knowing when to untuck. And I always say to have a little bit of splash, but that's when you know it's pretty good.
Maddie Montalbano of Ohio set to dive here. Impressive. Again, also something to bring up. Last week at Bowling Green, Ohio's 3 divers that scored were all freshmen: Savannah Boss, Astrid Pichardo, and Stephanie Baltha. Here is Laurel Smith of Akron. Akron approves.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, 3 freshmen placing. That means you're just going to have 3 more years after this of just great diving and only improvement.
Stephanie Balthauser of Ohio. And now Grace Matoka. Matoka will be followed by Astrid Pichardo and Sophia Cooper. Buffalo, in years past, Zach, they've been the talk of the diving, as far as diving goes in the Mid-American Conference. So it'll be interesting to see come MAC championships if anybody can compete with Buffalo. They seem to always dominate the diving department.
And if you have like 3 divers like OU that are here for a long time, you might be able to make that run and be that champion for 4 years in a row or whatever Buffalo is now. If you got the great divers that you get, they can only grow and develop. It could be really good for Ohio University going forward.
Here is freshman Astrid Pichardo from Mexico. Mason Norman was very high on Astrid Pichardo, and the crowd erupting after that dive. Again, she was one of the 3 freshmen who scored in last week's meet against Bowling Green. And if you factor in how new and fresh the diving program is with a first-year diving coach in Talisa Lemke trying to revamp the diving squad.
Looks like she's already done a pretty good job of that with 3 freshmen placing last meet against Bowling Green. So, good. Yeah, I mean, she's studying right now and coaching. She's doing a great job of revamping the program. That's for sure.
So back to the top of the order for Paige Bush and Akron. We will witness 6 dives from each of these divers in the 3-meter dive.
Yeah, it's a lot of diving in a short period of time, but switching it up, it looks like, on every single dive. Don't think you do the same dive more than once, but it's also important to note that this is still swim and diving. These points do matter towards the whole entire meet. It's not just for them individually.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was talking about earlier with Buffalo. Yep. That helped vault Buffalo into second place in the MAC championships last season. It was Akron who won the MAC championships for the 9th time over the last 10 seasons, but Buffalo got the second spot ahead of Miami because of their strength in diving.
Yeah, it's always something that people forget, that diving really does matter to the swim and dive meet.
Here is Elizabeth Noble of Akron. And now Maddie Montalbano set to dive for the second time. Last week, Ohio was pretty solid in the 1-meter dive, just participating in the 1-meter, not the 3-meter dive.
Might be something they want to do here with this meet, getting the 3-meter dive in, try to get some more practice with it before MAC championships or anything like that. Just to get more familiar, especially the difference in height is very different.
Laurel Smith, the junior from Knoxville, Tennessee. Here she goes. Out of Bearden High School, Knoxville, Tennessee native. And now Ohio will finish out round 2 with 4 divers. Akron only using 3 divers in this 3-meter dive.
It's like we talked about again, depth. Not only in the swimming, but also in the diving. Those are points that you're going to get and just give you a little bit of edge in these dual meets, and that's why Ohio University is undefeated like they are.
Grace Matoka, her second dive.
That one looked really clean to me.
Yeah, that did look really nice.
I know for sure I couldn't do any of this. It is very. This is really fun to watch.
Astrid Pichardo, freshman from Mexico for the Bobcats, gearing up for her second dive. Again, going back to Ohio's diving coach, Talisa Lemke, who is in her first full year as Ohio's diving coach. She's a 5-time MAC champion, Zach.
That's pretty nuts.
A 5-time MAC champion at Bowling Green. And, again, didn't initially come here and apply for a coaching job. She came here for film school.
Yeah, she's in classes just like me. kind of crazy to think about. Maybe we even had a couple classes, but Bowling Green is a great place to dive. They have an excellent pool up there at Bowling Green, and she's definitely got the diving experience from there.
All right, we are through 2 rounds of the 3-meter dive, and back to the top of the order for Paige Bush. Bush is a freshman from British Columbia in Canada.
A lot of international swimmers and divers on this Akron team.
Yeah, a ton of flavor for sure. It's great to see.
It is. It's great for the sport, too. Can bring so much to it.
Savannah Boss from Ohio for her 3rd diving attempt. Boss is a freshman from Cincinnati out of Ursuline Academy.
Yep.
Pretty good place to swim.
Oh, yeah. Swimming and diving is really big in Cincinnati. I swam there for 11 years. I will tell you, every university or every academy does a very good job. Every high school puts in all work, all day, all night in swimming and diving.
Here is Elizabeth Noble. Really changing it up with her 3rd attempt.
It's also important to mention a lot of places in Cincinnati, and goes for a lot of places like in the state of Ohio, don't really have too many diving wells. So like a lot of pools aren't made for diving. As you can see here in the Ohio University's pool, it's a little bit deeper, so you're able to do these dives, but a lot of places you're not able to, especially Olympic-style pools, because of their like measurements and everything. You just can't dive in there. So a lot of these swimmers and divers got to find places to dive. So I think UC is one of the biggest places that a lot of these divers go from Cincinnati to practice.
Yeah, Elizabeth Noble, who just had her 3rd dive, as this is Laurel Smith for the Zips.
Man, she got some height on that one.
Really clean elevation there from Laurel Smith. You can see her getting some advice from the coaching staff. Well, going back on that point you made about Cincinnati being a hotbed for swimming and diving, Elizabeth Noble, also from Cincinnati out of Walnut Hills High School, garnered an OSHAA Division I state championship at Walnut Hills High School, a 2-time ECC conference champion, and a 2-time All-American in high school.
Yeah, Walnut Hills is one of the best public high schools in the state of Ohio, and they definitely bring talent in whatever sport they have. That's for sure.
We are just about ready for the 4th round of diving. Sophia Cooper prepares for her 3rd dive. A patient approach from Cooper. And really clean.
You can hear the extra applause on that one.
Yeah, and I think she recognized it too. A little bit of a head nod there. Pardon me, that was Astrid Pichardo. This is Sophia Cooper. Cooper goes backwards and pretty clean. Now back to the top for Paige Bush. 4th round of diving. Again, if you're just joining us, we'll revisit some of the events from earlier today, Zach, in the 200 medley relay. Akron's A-team, which featured Rebecca Reed, Madeline Dyer, Abby Daniel, and Maddie Gatrell, 2 NCAA qualifiers in that A squad for Akron, Abby Daniel and Maddie Gatrell taking the victory. Ohio's 8 team in a close second. Allie Schrank, Cassie DeBetta, Mackenzie Grau, and Gabby Brust. In the 1,000 freestyle, Gabby McKee with the victory. Heat 1 of the 200 freestyle, Mackenzie Grau wins it. Only 3 swimmers in that first heat, and then 9 swimmers in the second heat. Zita Zoki highlighting that heat with a comfortable victory indeed. Was pushed a little bit by Rebecca Reed during the middle portion of the 200 freestyle, but Zita Zoki was able to finish strong in that event. 100 backstroke, Maddie Gatrell, the NCAA qualifier from a season ago, wins it for the Zips. And the 100 breaststroke, Emily Ellsworth taking first in lane 5. Abby Daniel wins the 200 butterfly, and Mackenzie Grau with a victory in the 50 free.
Yeah, a lot of great events here today during this meet. And another thing to mention, too, is going back to that medley relay for Akron. Veronica Goreca is not here. And so you got to think, if she were here, what events would she swim? And you know she would place because she did very, very well in the MAC championship this year.
Yeah, she's the school record holder in the 200 backstroke, 152.43, and that was at the NCAA championships.
Yeah, and you think if she was here on that A relay, they won it without her, but she definitely could have swam backstroke instead of Rebecca Reed, and maybe that could have gave Rebecca Reed enough time over here in her other event where she was
to hit the reset button.
Hit the reset button on Zita Zoki, but she did a phenomenal job either way.
We're in the 4th round of diving. This is Stephanie Balthazar of Ohio. Set to dive.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have the 1 meter diving in event 14. So if you're watching for diving, event 14 will be the next time that they will be diving.
Here's Grace Matoka. Participated in last year's MAC championships for the Bobcats. Junior from Magnolia, Texas, out of Magnolia West High School. Last season competed in 7 meets, placed 3rd in the 1 meter dive and 4th in the 3 meter dive in a meet against Denison, and is an academic all-MAC selection.
Yeah, this team's got some great divers, and Grace is really important too because she is a little bit, I wouldn't say too much older, but she's kind of a veteran on this team. And if you got 3 freshmen coming in and diving, it would be really good for a diver like Grace to help these freshmen out, help them grow, help them develop, figure out how to practice, how to condition. Because conditioning for high school is going to be a lot different from conditioning because of the off seasons.
And that completes the 4th round of diving. So here's the 5th round. Back to Paige Bush of Akron. We talked a little bit about Talisa Lemke, the primary diving coach for Ohio in her first full season as the diving coach. Akron's head coach is Brian Parisi, who swam here at Ohio University, a 2000 graduate, and also was an assistant coach and a recruiting coordinator for this Ohio swim team prior to becoming the head coach at Akron, and now he's in his 11th season. The head diving coach, we brought his name up earlier, Mark Cahalane, helping out Brian. Cahalane is in his 4th season, in his 4th season as the head diving coach. He is the owner of the American Flyers Diving Club in Hudson, Ohio.
Yeah, he's also a graduate of Ohio University. A lot of alumni here, all around.
Yeah, pretty cool to see the connections. And looking at the last time Ohio won a MAC championship, it was in 2011, and Brian Parisi was on staff at Ohio.
Yeah, it's a lot. It seems like a lot of good talent being passed around from. We mentioned it from like Akron, Bowling Green, Ohio University. Seems like everything's going in. It looks like Colini was here for 4 years, varsity member of swimming and diving. So spent 3 years doing professional at SeaWorld of Ohio in the high dive stunt show.
We got to find clips of that.
I would love some clips of that. I would love to know what the high dive stunt show of SeaWorld was. And that sounds really, really cool.
Laurel Smith for Akron, ready to dive for the 5th time. 6 rounds of diving in the 3-meter dive. A really nice dive there.
Oh,
Look at
she's
that
excited.
insane reaction there from Laurel Smith. That's the biggest smile I think we've seen from any diver in this
100%.
3-meter dive.
She's been smiling this whole entire time. I think she's having a really good dive meet going on. She's clapping teammates over there.
Laurel Smith is a junior from Knoxville, Tennessee. And again, the diving coaches are part of the judging.
Yeah.
Which is just a fascinating thing.
Yeah, it is. It is fascinating to me because I don't know if I'd want if I was diving, I don't know if I want my coach judging me. I don't know if they'd help me out or they wouldn't help me out at all. Because I feel like they'd be the most critical of you too. So I think it goes both ways on how they would judge you.
It's a much different judging system compared to, say, the slam dunk contest in All-Star Weekend where you got the 10, 9.
Yes. Very different.
It's a very secretive judging system that we don't find out about as far as the results go until the end.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see how it will be judged during the MAC championship, if they'll have other more experienced coaches judging it, or they'll have actual officials come in and judge it. It'll be an interesting experience, but we'll definitely figure that out soon.
Sophie Cooper finishes up round 5, and now the final round, the 6th and final round of the 3-meter dive. Paige Bush of Akron in a leadoff spot. Freshman from British Columbia. Gets an applause from the Akron crowd.
Looks like she was pretty happy with that score. It looks like she's getting some words from her coach on a better improve, but that's with everything. Can't always be perfect. Not getting 10s on the All-Star weekend.
Yeah, Paige Bush, again, from British Columbia, heading over and checking out the Zips Women's Swim and Dive Instagram account. Got a lot of love after she signed with the Zips. Someone commented on that Instagram post welcoming Paige Bush to the team. So proud you are gaining the best teammate ever. You are lucky to have her. We will miss her positive energy around the pool. That must have been a
looks like it's a club team.
Yeah, club team that she dove for, White Rock Divers.
Yeah, I mean, losing a teammate, maybe going forward, though, there'll be a lot of White Rock Divers coming to Akron to follow her in her footsteps.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to see. Maddie Montalbano of Ohio, set to dive. We will transition to the 100 freestyle after this 6th round of the 3-meter dive.
Yeah, we'll have 2 heats of that one.
Yeah, at the moment, we've got just one swimmer in the first heat, but that we could potentially have a late scratch add-in, perhaps. I think that's what we had in heat 1 of the 200 freestyle, where there were only 2 Ohio swimmers listed, and then a third emerged.
Yeah, let's hope she gets some other swimmers in there, because if she's like me, I wouldn't want to be swimming by myself. It's hard to like pace off. You're just by yourself. It's hard to pace. It's easier in the water, but I would like to have some competition and driving me a little bit more.
Grace Matoka with her 6th dive. Really clean there from Matoka. I just noticed Astrid Pichardo was applauding Grace from the diving board as soon as she landed.
Oh, yeah. Good to have that team chemistry, always cheering each other on.
Yeah. Here is Astrid Pichardo, the freshman from Mexico who scored last week in the 1-meter dive at Bowling Green.
It's also funny to mention when they're doing that, the back dives like that, the next diver doesn't really look at them. They like turn around and face the wall because they don't want to throw them off or anything like that or move. They stand completely still and look at the wall.
It's a routine. We see a lot of different routines from all these divers.
Yep.
It's similar to like a batting stance in baseball or softball, with where you want the bat to be positioned, where you want your feet to be positioned, how many times you bounce before.
Yeah, and everything's unique too. Like everything is the way you like to do it. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable, and it's going to get your team the most amount of points.
So that wraps up the 6 rounds of the diving, and we will take a quick break. Coming up next, the 100 freestyle. We've got 2 heats in that one as our dual meet continues, Ohio and Akron. All right, welcome back to the Ohio University Aquatic Center. Alongside Zach Vogler, I'm Sam Hyman. Thanks for joining us live on YouTube as we just wrapped up the 3-meter diving and getting set to start the 100 freestyle heat 1 of 2. Heat 1 will feature Katie Baroker in lane 5 and a late addition 2 for the Bobcats, but we'll definitely pay attention, Zach, to Heat 2 of the 100 freestyle with the matchup of Zita Zoki against Rebecca Reed.
Yes, and that was a matchup that we saw earlier that we kind of weren't expecting in the 200-yard free. Zita Zoki obviously won the heat, but Rebecca Reed was really close to her. It was right on her tail for the first half. So we're going to see if she can do that again. And with it only being a 100-yard freestyle, I wonder if she's going to keep it really, really close on this one because of the shortened yardage. More of a sprint.
Mackenzie Grau last season was impressive in the MAC championships, 49.62 in the 100 freestyle. She is not in this 100 free, but as far as Zita Zoki goes, her fastest time in the 100 freestyle, 51.30 this season in the dual meet against Illinois State.
Yeah, that's an excellent time. Mackenzie Grau already swam the 200-yard freestyle and the 50-yard freestyle. So I'm assuming, looking at Coach Mason's plan here, he probably wanted Mackenzie Grau to win the 50-yard freestyle like she did, and then Zita Zoki to win the 200-yard freestyle, Heat 2, which she did, and then Zita Zoki, the plan is to win this event right here in the 100-yard freestyle for Ohio.
What makes it so fascinating, if you look at some of the times, Zita Zoki, again, her personal best at Ohio in the 100 free, 51.30. Rebecca Reed's personal best this season in the 100 free, 50.42. So 50.42 Rebecca Reed, 100 free, 51.30. Rebecca Reed a little bit faster coming into this meet.
Yeah, that is not that far off of each other, too, because you got to think it's only 100 yards. Those little nanoseconds really do kind of mean a lot. It might seem like they're really far off, but they're pretty close together in that time, and anything can really happen in the 100 freestyle. And then you got Meg Voigt down here, too. She's in lane 9. Expect some outside smoke right here. She might try to come in and try to place in the top 3.
Share with our listeners and viewers what does outside smoke mean?
So outside smoke is, you have all these lanes here. You got 1 through 10. So the outside smoke is basically 1 through 10, the outsides are not expecting to win. You put your best swimmers in lane 5 and 6 because of the waves, they push out. So it's harsher on the swimmers in 1 and 10. So they don't really expect them to win, so they put them on the outside. But we've seen it here a couple times today. Rebecca Reed came in lane 8, and she got 3rd. But you can see it here, and possibly Meg Voigt could come in here and do very good in this freestyle. She's not expected to do very well because they put her in the outside heat or whatever, but she could and be an outside smoke and win the so that'd be really cool.
Well, I think Zita Zoki wants all the smoke.
I think she does too.
Against Rebecca Reed. It should be a fascinating race. But first up, Heat 1 of 2 in the 100 freestyle. And again, in lane 5 for the Bobcats is Katie Baroker. And we had a very late addition for Ohio. We don't know who that other swimmer is. We're going to listen in. Couldn't quite hear who that second swimmer was announced.
Yeah, but we're going to see here Katie Baroker went 53-57 in the Ohio versus Illinois State meet. In that meet, too, Zita Zoki went 51.30. So it's just crazy how much of a difference there is from 53.57 to 51.30, but it does mean almost everything.
100 freestyle heat 1 of 2 underway.
A little bit of a slow turn there for Katie Baroker, but it looks like she's more what they call the jelly filled. More the middle of the lane. She's really fast. You can see the kicking difference too in this. It's very good to see just how different they are. Baroker's kicking is really, you can see the waves going up. She's kicking consistently in this race. And then she's got to take it home here.
Final push. Less than 50 meters to go. 50 yards, pardon me. And it is Katie Baroker who finishes in impressive fashion, 55-10 for Baroker.
A little bit slower than what she went last meet, but that happens, especially when you're swimming events, back-to-back meets. You can see that your personal time is not going to happen every single meet. It's going to go up and down, but overall, really good swim here being unsuited.
Yeah, again, both teams unsuited, not in those tight $500+ expensive suits that we'll see at the MAC Championships.
Oh, yeah. Everybody will be suited up for the MAC Championship.
So here we go for Heat 2 of the 100 freestyle. Really fascinating race about to unfold. Watch out for Rebecca Reed in lane 4, Zita Zoki in lane 5. Caroline Dunnigan also someone to pay attention to in lane 1 for the Bobcats. Meg Voigt in lane 9 for Ohio. Got 9 swimmers. It looks like Caroline Dunnigan, a late scratch. Good call, Zach. So she will not be in lane 1. So Kendall Craig, lane 2, Akron. Emma Forbes, lane 3, Ohio. Rebecca Reed, lane 4, Akron. Zita Zoki, lane 5, Ohio. Mia Latimer, lane 6, Akron. Emma Likens, lane 7, Ohio. Callie Parks, lane 8, Akron. Meg Voigt, lane 9, Ohio, as we get set for the 100 freestyle Heat 2. Something that we have circled on our heat sheet coming into this dual meets.
Oh, yeah, this has been the event that everybody's been kind of waiting to see. This is going to be a really good race between Rebecca Reed and Zita Zoki.
Again, pay attention, lane 4 and 5.
That looked like a really good turn there by Zita Zoki. It looks like she was actually able to make up some time on that turn.
We'll see who turns first. It is lane 5, Zita Zoki with the first to turn there on that near side.
Yes, a split of 24-64. She was the only one to have a split inside 25.
Zita Zoki in lane 5 turns pretty comfortably ahead of Rebecca Reed. Rebecca Reed coming into this dual meet with a faster time in the 100 freestyle. But Zita Zoki making a statement. The freshman finishes in first place with an unofficial time of 51:57.
And that was a really impressive swim there by Zita Zoki. She was able to pull away from Rebecca Reed early and really didn't have to worry about losing that spot. But Akron did go 2 and 3 in that heat. So Zita Zoki may have gotten the first place points, but it looks like Akron might come out ahead on the point total in that heat.
Yeah, the top 3 are as follows. Zita Zoki, 51:57. Rebecca Reed, 52:49. Akron and Mia Latimer, Akron, 52:51.
And next up, we got the 200-yard backstroke. One of the important things for this one is to see who's using the little strips there at the bottom of the blocks. You can kind of see they pull them out and they put them near their feet. So you're going to hear a loud clank right as soon as they leave.
There you go.
Yep, all those ones will go up. And just to help, there's not too much gripping. If you feel the tops of the blocks, there's a lot of gripping on to make sure you're able to throw yourself forward, get all the momentum that you need. But on the bottom, there's these time pads that they click, and the time immediately goes to the board up there. But when you have those little pull-down slabs you got there, it gives you a little extra grip, a little extra zip, if you want to say, going into the backstroke.
So the 200 backstroke is underway. Lane 3, Ohio, Riley Bunstein. Lane 4, Akron, Maddie Gatrell, NCAA qualifier. Lane 5, Morgan Brown, Ohio. Lane 6, Julia Mauter, Akron. Lane 7, Mel Schweikert, Ohio. Lane 8, Cameron Leydig, Akron. And lane 9, Allie Schrank, Ohio. And again, Allie Schrank, a primary 50 and 100 backstroker, was part of the relay squad last year. That broke the school record in the MAX as part of the 400 medley relay.
Yeah, I expect her to do really well here, but the problem is she is swimming against Maddie Control in lane 4. And as you can see right now, she is by far and away is really ahead there. This is Maddie Control's specialty, is this backstroke, and this is what Akron has been doing all season long, is dominating this backstroke. But it's important for Ohio to get as many points as they can here, and it looks like they're in the 2 and 3 spot in lane 7 and lane 5 for Ohio going forward in this 200-yard event.
Yeah, lanes 5 and 7 for Ohio feature Morgan Brown. She's in lane 5. Mel Schweiker, Ohio, lane 7. But, yeah, going back to your point about Akron and Maddie Gatrell, school record holder at Akron in the 100 backstroke, 51.59. That was in the 2023 National Championships. Having to extend a little bit more here in the 200 backstroke, but Ohio does go second and third respectively behind Maddie Gatrell.
Yeah, time of 2:01.25 there for Maddie Control. That is a very good time, and the thing is she won by like 3 seconds compared to the next place finisher, literally 3 seconds, 0.03. So, I mean, she is an incredible backstroker. It's just something that Ohio has to work around when going against Akron.
Morgan Brown takes second place for the Bobcats, 2:04.28. And Mel Schweiker, third place, 2:04.48. So, again, you talk about that depth a little bit for the Bobcats, being able to hold strong in second and third.
Yeah, now we got the 200 breaststroke, and it looks like this one's actually pretty split. Looks like Akron and Ohio got a pretty even number of swimmers in this event, and it's going to be interesting to see who can come away with this one. I'd watch lane 9, Cassie DeBetta, again doing breaststroke. She did it on the relay earlier. See what she can do in the 200.
So the 200 breaststroke underway. Akron and Ohio in this dual meet. Claire Cox, lane 2, Akron. Emily Ellsworth, lane 3, Ohio. Danica Bosman, lane 4, Akron. Julia Strine, lane 5, Ohio. Giovanni Capabianca, lane 6, Akron. Ohio, lane 7, Eddie Sawyer. Lane 8, Joelle Vogelman, Akron. Cassie DeBetta, who you mentioned, one of the best on this Ohio team in the breaststroke. She is in lane 9. And Madeline Dyer, lane 10 for the Zips. And no one in lane 1.
You said there's nobody in lane 10 as well.
Yeah, no one in lane 10 either. And here in lane 5, Julia Strine looking very impressive for the Bobcats.
Yeah, and Sawyer is right there with her. Some good competition. You can see each other. That's why I like breaststroke so much. You can see each other because they do a little bit of an open turn, which is a little bit different than freestyle and backstroke. But you can see each other clearly when you're going back because you're looking to the left. And then when she comes back here, you look to the left again, and you just alternate where you guys are at in the pool. So it creates some really good competition that we're seeing here.
Julia Strine looking really sharp here, pushing neck and neck with Eddie Sawyer. Strine closing in, as she will have a good push off that wall for the final 50.
Yeah, and you can see Strine in this. She is really pushing down on her chest there. She's scooping in. She's pushing down. Her hips are coming back, doing a really good, unique breaststroke kick that I love so much because it's so unique. And she is really going all out for it, keeping her head down and looking straight ahead.
Julia Strine's fastest time this season in the 200 breaststroke, 2:21.31. Final push. And it is Julia Strine who finishes first. Ohio goes 1, 2, 3 in the 200 breaststroke. And how about this? 2:16.91 for Julia Strine, which is way faster than her season best coming in, which was 2:21.31. So she smokes that one.
It goes back to that competition, the seeing your opponent right there. And that's why I credit Eddie Sawyer so much because she's right there pushing her to her limits. I mean, she went at 2:17.46, which is a phenomenal time for her as well. It's really is that competition that really thrives you to go forward and makes you a better swimmer at the end of the heat, especially.
Emily Ellsworth comes in third place, 2:19.13. Wow, that was a good situation there for the Bobcats.
Yeah, it really was.
And Julia Strine has to be proud. Last season at Max, Zach, she did the 200 breaststroke in 2:16.55. So nearly
Nearly the
beat
same.
that time, 2:16.91 here today in the 200 breaststroke, and at Max 2:16.55.
Yeah.
And this is unsuited.
Unsuited, not as much preparation. That's a really good time, and that shows a lot of progression from last year to this year. Even though it might be a slower time, it's not suited. So, but there's going to be a lot of progression. She's going to do really well at the MAC championship this year.
Heat 1 of the 500 freestyle underway. Features 4 Bobcats, actually 5, another addition, a late addition for Ohio. Anna McGrath, lane 4, Ellie Bowalik, lane 5, Peyton Binns, lane 6, Olivia Morlock, lane 7.
Yeah, all Ohio here. The next seed, there's only 2 Akron swimmers as well, so there shows that depth again for Ohio. Really going to try to capitalize on those points in this 500-yard freestyle event.
Again, revisiting that 200 breaststroke. This is something that we witnessed without Cassie DeBetta, who is one of the best breaststrokers on this team, did not finish in the top 3, and she has gotten high praise from her head coach, Mason Norman, best breaststroker. Maybe not sure how much effort she gave there, trying to be able to gain some more energy, perhaps for some of the later events, maybe the relay. But it's interesting.
And it's really important, too, if you're looking at the yardage. We have it on here that she is racing the 50 breaststroke. She's done really, really well. Unsuited. She has a really fast time. But the 200-yard breaststroke, you got to plan it out a little bit different. Sometimes when you're doing the 50, it's more about how fast you can move your arms and not really as much as a glide, where we saw in that race right there, Julia Strine, she really glided for a long time. She really pressed her chest down, was able to get that kick, and she glided and went really, really quick, where Cassie, maybe more of a quick stroker, and that's why she's so gifted at the 50 breaststroke compared to the 200. And that's why also she's on the relay.
Yeah, exactly. And Cassie DeBetta coming into this weekend holds the 3rd fastest MAC time in the 100 breaststroke, 1:03.23, unsuited, we might add, and raced earlier this year, I should say, March 2023, in the 50 breaststroke, 29:18 at the CSCAA National Invitational Championship back in March. So Ohio looking pretty strong in the breaststroke. Again, Akron comes in with just so much depth at the backstroke. But Ohio really impressive with their breaststroke today. We talked about Julia Strine, the junior from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, out of Shippensburg Area High School, winning that 200 breaststroke a moment ago. As the 500 freestyle happening right now, Julia Strine with a season best 2:16.91 in the 200 breaststroke.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, Akron came in here knowing that they were going to probably win the backstroke, even though they're missing one of their best swimmers in the backstroke, in Veronica Goreca. They were still able to win that heat, no problem. But obviously, Ohio was able to dominate in breaststroke today, and that's going to be a lot of points in this dual meet for them. And looking forward, how well this could be a really good event for them in the MAC championship.
Absolutely. And now centering our focus here to the 500 freestyle, as everybody's crossed the 4-minute mark so far. Anna McGrath with an opportunity to really take a step forward this season. She had the 4th fastest time last year amongst the Bobcats in the 500 freestyle at 4:58.76. And this season, Anna McGrath with a chance to post a couple of times here and get prepared for the MAC championships is in lane 7.
Yeah, you hear the bell.
Olivia Morlock.
Yeah, you hear the bell. She's got one more 50 to go.
Olivia Morlock last season at the MAC championship, 5:04.72.
Yeah, Peyton Binns is right behind her, looking to try and make a move, but it might be a little too late in order to win this one. But we'll see here.
Olivia Morlock in lane 7, and she finishes first. Lane 6, Peyton Binns.
Looks like there was an issue with the pad timing there. It looks like sometimes when you hit those pads, they don't register all the way. So I'm sure she got a great time, and she ended up winning that one.
So Peyton Binns with a bit of a clock issue, like you mentioned, a pad issue in lane 7, so we don't have an official time for Olivia Morlock. Peyton Binns wins the 500 freestyle in Heat 1 with a time of 5:14.59. Now we transition to Heat 2 of the 500 freestyle. Gabby McKee, lane 1. Bella Arbaugh, lane 3. 2 Ohio swimmers, respectively. Astrid Halverson, Akron, lane 4. Celia Creviston, Ohio, lane 5. Ellie Kucher, Akron, lane 6. Ashley Sallows, Ohio, lane 7. Morgan Croning, who has lane 9. And they're off.
It might be a little mix-up in the heat sheet. I just saw Celia Creviston come out of the pool. And she's listed as being in the 5th lane on this heat. So I'm interested to see. I wonder if they took the exhibition and put it in the Heat 1, which is usually what happens in most of these races. So I'm interested to see who's actually in at 5 right now.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. The X's on our heat sheet signify exhibition swims, which do not count towards the total team score, correct?
Yeah, it does not. It's more of a getting used to, and that's why they usually put them in Heat 1, because when you go to the MAC championship, it's preliminary in the finals kind of deal. So, there'll be, A finals and B finals for those events. So, usually the fastest event or fastest heat in that event will go last. So, I bet you what they did here, because I saw Celia come out. I've raced with Celia for years, so I know it's her. So I saw Celia get out of the pool, so I wonder if they put the exhibition heat swimmers in the first heat, which would seem like kind of more of the logical thing to do.
So the 500 freestyle, Heat 2 of 2 underway. Gabby McKee has the fastest time this season amongst any Bobcat, 4:58.39. And she is in lane 1, or actually probably switched lanes, it looks like.
I'm assuming
no one in lane 1 or 2, so we'll see if we can get a clear view. And perhaps Gabby has moved to lane 3, or maybe lane 5.
I'm looking based off the swimming I'm seeing.
Based off the swimming,
yeah. Based off the swimming I'm seeing, I'm thinking Gabby McKee is in lane 5. Obviously, I don't think it's right with the heat sheet. I know it's not right with the heat sheet because Celia's not swimming right now. But I bet you they put Gabby McKee in the 5 just because she was listed as lane number 1 on the heat sheet. I really can't see her being the outside smoke for this heat. It just wouldn't seem right.
Definitely looks like her, Gabby McKee, in lane 5. As for Akron, a couple of swimmers to highlight, Zach, are Ellie Kucher and Astrid Halverson. Kucher comes into this dual meet with a season best 4:54.47. Now, that was suited at the Akron Zips Classic, and Astrid Halverson also suited in the Akron Zips Classic with a 4:54.95 time. And Ohio has not swam suited yet this season. Gabby McKee with a season best 4:58.39. So that's about 4 seconds. And being suited versus unsuited, those are precious seconds that that separate the suited versus the unsuited.
Yeah, and we're seeing it here in this dual meet that there's a lot of separation between the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. The MAC championship, That probably won't be happening. It is going to be very, very close the whole entire race because of the high competitiveness. And we talked about that with Coach Mason because Zita Zoki swims freestyle primarily. But because of the high competition in freestyle, because a majority of swimmers can swim freestyle at a high level, it's very hard for her to climb those ranks and get in the A and B finals because of how close they are when it comes to the MAC championship and I-dual meet.
A pretty fascinating matchup going on right now in lane 6 and 7. In lane 6, it's Ellie Kuchar. Lane 7, Ashley Sallows. Those two battling for second place right now, Zach. And now it looks like Ashley Sallows has taken a pretty decent lead over Ellie Kuchar.
Yeah, it looks like she is. She's moving on. She doesn't want to get second place. She wants to get first place in this one.
Again, Ellie Kuchar suited at the Akron Zips Classic, posted a time of 4:54.47 this season. That is a season best, but both teams unsuited here today.
Yeah, if you saw that right there, that was by Ashley Sallows. That was a 30-second 50. 30 seconds.
Wow.
In that 50. That is a huge 50 for her to try to regain that lead.
And for context, Gabby McKee, someone that really posted consistent 31-second splits in the 1,000 freestyle. You expect that to be a little bit faster because this is the 500 final stretch here as they turn the corner, the final 25 yards.
I am a little worried that Ashley went a little too hard right there in lane 7 on that last one.
Yeah, Ellie Kuchar has turned on the jets, battling Gabby McKee for the final touch. It is Gabby McKee first, Ellie Kuchar second, Ashley Sallows third. What a finish.
That was a crazy ending right there. Ashley Sallows did a really good job of putting the pressure there on lane 6, but as you can see, Ellie Kuchar was able to move and get ahead. She knew when to save her energy, and she went crazy on that 50. I wish they would give the final split on it, but obviously the race is over. But I bet you that last 50 was very, very quick from the Akron Zip.
So Gabby McKee, 5 flat high. 5:00.61 for Gabby McKee, and Ellie Kuchar 5:01.55 for second place. So really close, 5:01.55.
Yeah, that was a really good race right there. You could just see how saving your energy for each 50 really means a difference because you can go, and that comes with training too, just having a consistent 30.50 split every time really helps out.
Here we go with a quick down and back. So twice down and back for the 100 butterfly. Gabby Brust, watch out for her, Ohio. A stalwart, according to head coach Mason Norman, listed in the heat sheet in lane 1.
Yeah, we also got Zita Zoki here in lane 5, and then Abby Daniel, lane 4 for Akron. This could be a really good race for her.
NCAA qualifier through the first 25 yards.
Wow, that was incredible underwater by Abby Daniel. There's a reason why she is really good at the fly. Look how far she goes on this underwater.
Yeah, Abby Daniel really impressive in lane 4, Zach, to your point, out in front.
Yeah, she goes halfway underwater.
Yeah, I think Gabby Brust moved to lane 5. She's in second place right now.
I think you're right.
Gabby Brust pushing the tempo here. Less than 25 yards. Gabby Brust trying to turn it on. Going up against Abby Daniel in NCAA qualifier. Daniel finishes first. Brust second. And I believe in lane 3, it may have been Alex Wayner.
That was a very, very good heat right there. Abby Daniel, that was a very impressive swim, going almost halfway underwater for each 50. That was a really good one.
So Alex Wayner from Ohio finishes third place, 56.68. That is one that I believe might not count, though, because it's X'd off in our heat sheet.
Yeah, we'll have to go. We'll have to look at that.
That could be changed, though. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, with the switching the lanes on the first one, or the heat prior, we might have to look back and see make sure those heats were right and everything like that. But we'll definitely be able to get the official scores here soon.
Well, Abby Daniel, Gabby Bruss, I mean, that comeback championship time, Zach, those two are going to be fascinating to watch if they both compete in the 100 fly. We know Abby Daniel is so strong
Oh, yeah.
in the fly.
I mean, she has the meet and team record in the 100 fly, the MAC championship last season. So
And
it's really impressive.
I believe coming up next, we're going to take a quick break. We've got the 1 meter diving coming up. Only a couple of more events to go. 1 meter diving, and then we got the 400 IM and the 200 freestyle relay. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the 1 meter diving is next, and we've got the lineup for you on the other side.
on standby. So Sam eventually.
All right, we are back
wants
here
ice
at the
and
Ohio
shot.
University Aquatic Center in Athens. Starting the 1 meter dive. Back with Zach Vogler, I'm Sam Hyman. And this is our lineup today for the 1 meter dive. Maddie Montalbano, Astrid Picardo,
Okay, so all
Pichardo,
the
Savannah
way
Boss,
outside
Stephanie
right
Balthazar, Sophia Cooper, Elizabeth Noble, Paige Bush, Grace Matoka, and Laurel Smith. So a bit of a different order than the 3 meter dive, as that is something that both coaches decided to shake up. Paige Bush was the first diver in the 3 meter dive.
Yeah, and for this one, you're only going so high in the air. It doesn't really take you too long to get right on there. You don't have to climb up the ladder or anything like that. You just step up there and go. They're going to alternate between diving boards. So, and in this event for diving, Akron only has 3 divers once again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio should be on the diving board a lot during this.
And it does feel like, again, with this 1 meter dive, it's a lot quicker pace with the 1 meter dive.
Yeah, it already feels like that, and we've only done like 3 dives.
Now, we do have a scoring update for those of you wondering. Prior to the start of the 1 meter dive, Ohio 143 points, Akron 101 points. So the Bobcats in the lead right now against the Zips. Again, worth mentioning, we spoke to Coach Mason Norman about this. The record does not matter in our league during the regular season. We need to just focus on preparing for the MAC championships. Still certainly noteworthy that Ohio is leading this dual meet, or 143-101.
Yeah, although the regular season may not be as important for Coach Mason, it definitely is important for team chemistry, getting PRs. I mean, we've seen a couple PRs here today. Unsuited, anything like that, just getting comfortable in the water before you're getting ready for those MAC championships. And I think today, with a possible win over Akron, that would be very huge for team morale going forward.
Paige Bush of Akron with her first dive, and now Grace Matoka, the 8th diver in the lineup of 9 divers, like a baseball or softball game. We've got a lineup of 9 divers.
Oh, yeah.
In the 1 meter dive.
Yeah, it's definitely going by a lot quicker on this one. They are going back to back to back. Trying to get our great production crew is trying to get some great shots in there, trying to get those reactions. Helps us know if they feel confident in their own dive or if they need to know got some things to work on.
Maybe at some point we can perhaps add a GoPro to the equation.
I don't know. I might start getting in there, Sam, and start doing an underwater cam. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
Stay tuned. Again, the Bobcats will host the MAC championships this year. Well, technically next year, but this season, February 28th to March 2nd here inside the Ohio University Aquatic Center. Bobcats will host the MAC championships again February 28th to March 2nd. Ohio came in 4th place last season just by an eyelash right behind Miami. It came down to the final day. Yeah. It was Akron 1, Buffalo 2, Miami 3, Ohio 4 by the smallest of margins.
Yeah, that is going to be crazy, the MAC championship here. I mean, you guys can see it on your screen. There is not a lot of people around the pool deck. When MAC championships comes around, that's going to change. There's going to be people warming up and warming down constantly in the pool cross. It is going to be very jam-packed here, and I'm sure it's going to be a lovely crowd like it is today.
Yeah, it'll be elbow-to-elbow contact in the bleachers.
Might be elbow-to-elbow contact here in the press table right here.
Yeah, we are situated in the stands, literally, for this dual meet between Akron and Ohio. These divers are rolling through the second round of the 1 meter dive. Akron dominated the 3 meter dive. We don't have the official results of the 3 meter dive, but we do know that the Zips were pretty impressive in the 3 meter dive. However, Ohio coming into the 1 meter dive with the advantage overall. 143 points, 143 points to 101 points.
Yeah, I mean, if Akron's looking to come back in this dual meet, there's only 2 swimming events left, the 400-yard IM and the 200-yard freestyle relay. Diving will have to get a couple points here. They did it there in the 3 meter dive, but there's a pretty big gap between the point differential right now. So diving is going to be extra important for the Zips.
And Akron really pleased with that dive. And look at that reaction.
Pretty happy about that one.
Well done from Elizabeth Noble.
I've seen a lot of positive reactions from the Zips today.
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe that's why they have got a lot more points there in the first diving event.
Paige Bush with an impressive dive. Yeah, we saw Laurel Smith of Akron with probably the biggest smile out of any of the divers in the 3 meter dive.
Oh, yeah.
That was earlier today. Looking at the upcoming schedules for both programs, the weekend of November 16th, Ohio will split up. Initially, they were going to split up and have a swim and dive event in different locations. That will not happen anymore.
Yeah, I believe Coach Mason said that they're not going to the Ohio State Invitational now. I believe that they are going to focus on the 285 invite going forward. But swimming at Ohio State is that is a gorgeous pool. It is very big pool, and it also does have a diving well, so you're able to do both. Unlike some of the pools in Ohio, you're not able to dive there, but Ohio State you definitely are.
Akron's next swim meet will be the weekend of November 16th in Cleveland, Ohio at Cleveland State.
Is that dual meet?
That is a dual meet against Cleveland State, I believe.
Actually, I think it's an invitational.
Yeah, it's actually the Magnus Cup Invitational, pardon me.
3 days, too. 3 days of swimming. So I'm assuming, and they have it marked as all day, so I'm assuming those will be their basic preliminary finals. So maybe there'll be a dive meet in there. They'll split up a lot because you can really just choose what kind of events you really want to do. Yeah, and then for Ohio, they got an invite on November 17th as well. Looks like they'll be in Virginia for that one. And yeah, a couple. Not too many dual meets left. They got one against Marshall on January 5th, but just a couple.
There's a quick look at Ohio head coach Mason Norman in his 6th season with the Bobcats. Prior to Athens, was an associate head coach at Kentucky for 1 season and an assistant coach at Kentucky for 4 seasons. And he is thrilled to be here, and it's got a ton of energy. Love the energy Mason Norman brings to the table for this program.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the coolest coaches I've talked to here at Ohio University. But definitely brings the energy, definitely loves what he does. And you guys went to Wingate.
Yeah. Mason Norman, a 22-time All-American swimmer at Wingate University in Wingate, North Carolina, part of the NCAA Division II National Championship 400 freestyle relay team in 2010. He brings a ton of experience to the table, and he's got a great personality. And we enjoyed our conversation with him earlier this week.
Oh, yeah. Definitely brings the experience, that's for sure. And a lot of people don't know it, but it is a strategic coaching. You can just be like, oh, swim faster in the water, but it's not really like that. You got to plan a lot of events and stuff like that and kind of see how you can get the most points possible. And these dual meets, obviously, they're doing, it's very important. And Coach Mason has done a very good job of that. Went so far undefeated in these dual meets. But it's just positioning people where they are able to get the most amount of points and maximize every swim possible.
Yeah, it's a combination of the dry land training, right, and also training in the pool.
Yep. Yeah, you don't just practice in the pool. Sometimes you gotta lift weights. Sometimes you gotta do that cardio. Gotta get anything you can to help you out in the pool.
Grace Matoka of Ohio with a dive. Rounding out the third round of diving, Laurel Smith of Akron. Following the 1 meter dive, we will wrap up this dual meet with 2 exciting races. 3 technically because the 400 IM has 2 heats, but we'll have heat 1 and heat 2 of the 400 IM and then the 200 freestyle relay. So definitely don't want to miss that.
Yeah,
stay tuned.
Definitely don't want to miss that 200-yard freestyle relay. I'm very excited to watch that one. I'm also excited to watch the 400-yard IM, though, too, because that is a very tough event. You got to be good at every stroke, and obviously there are some strokes that you have more of a strong suit for, so those are the strokes you got to try and take advantage, take the lead with, but overall it's a long-distance event.
That was an impressive dive from Maddie Montalbano. One of Ohio's best dives right there.
Yep.
Astrid Pichardo, freshman from Mexico, who we talked a lot about, Zach, with Mason Norman. He was really impressed with Astrid Pichardo and what she brings to the table. She dove for 4 years at her high school in Mexico. She's a fan of Lionel Messi, listening to music, and Sour Patch Kids.
Ooh, Sour Patch Kids. I bet you she has some Sour Patch Kids before every dive. I bet you that's like maybe a ritual that we were talking about. Maybe not so much on the diving board, but outside of the pool.
We'll definitely have to ask her about that.
Yeah, we definitely will. I'm interested. Lionel Messi, I expect that. One of the greatest athletes ever. It's Sour Patch Kids. That's a good one.
Sophie Cooper with a pretty smooth dive there. And now back to Elizabeth Noble, our 4th round of diving. 1 meter. For the swimmers that will get set to participate in the 400-yard IM and the 200 freestyle relay, is there anything that you would do as a swimmer during this sort of downtime? We do see some of the swimmers in the cool down and warm-up pool on the far side, but anything that swimmers do during downtime in between events?
Actually, one of the biggest things I'd say between downtime is eating and replenishing any calories that you lost. Because you can't see it because you're in the pool, and I couldn't see it when I swam too. But you're sweating constantly, and this is one of the highest sports where you burn calories. You burn them at like a crazy rate. So when a lot of times when you're during those breaks, like right now especially, you will see people eating, drinking Gatorade. I've seen people eat like whole meals.
Wow.
Like whole meals in between, because you're trying to replenish as much as you can, because you're going and you're exerting so much energy in the pool.
Here is Laurel Smith of Akron to wrap up the 4th round of the 1 meter dive.
Yeah, and also going back to conditioning yourself before a race, usually consists of swimming beforehand. You're warm up, so you're just trying to loosen your muscles a little bit, because maybe you haven't sitting down, maybe you have been eating, kind of loosening up your muscles, and then after every race you will cool down, try to ease those muscles once again because of all that physical exertion that you're putting in during your race.
Really good insight, and certainly going to be interesting to see what happens in the final relays to close out this dual meet. And can Ohio hang on and win?
Yeah, I'm looking at the heat sheet coming up, and it doesn't look like there's too many. There doesn't look like there's any swimmers swimming the 400 IM right to the relay, and that might be because in these dual meets, you can either swim 3 individuals in 1 relay, or you can swim 2 individuals in 2 relays. So that's also part of the process that Coach Mason has to deal with when picking who's going to go in one event, because they can only swim 2 individuals or 3 individuals.
That's a good point.
And then 1 relay or 2 relays.
Astrid Pichardo with an impressive dive. Maddie Montalbano and Astrid Pichardo have been impressive here in the 1 meter dive. We've seen a lot of positive emotion on display with their reactions following these dives. Maddie is a senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, out of Seneca Valley. Savannah Boss just dove a second ago. Now here's Stephanie Balthaser. Bobcats and the Zips here in this dual meet. These two teams did not meet during the regular season last year. They alternate years. One of the things that are certainly important mentioning about dual meets compared to the MAC championship are the limitations on where you can put people.
Yep.
You talked about this a little bit. Here in a dual meet, you can decide on where to place people in lanes.
Yes.
And that is something that you do not have the control over. I mean, your time has the control.
Yes, your
in the
time
MAC,
has the control over.
But you can't handpick where you place people in the MAC championship in lanes.
So I imagine when it comes to the MAC championships and prelims, they are probably going to circle seat it. So that basically means that the top 3 swimmers in the event will be the top 3 swimmers in each individual heat. So then they'll be surrounded, they'll circle seated. So then like the 4th best swimmer will be in the heat with the 1st best swimmer. And it'll go forth until all the heats are filled, pretty much. So I would assume that's how it's going to go with the MAC championship. So you kind of don't really know what lane you're going to be in. And then also, obviously, when it comes to finals, that's just going to be where you were, where you finished. And that's what your lane will be equivalent.
Laurel Smith will wrap up the 5th round of diving, the 1 meter. It's been a really entertaining dual meet so far. A lot of close finishes.
Yep, I'm hoping to see a couple more near the end here. Hoping to see a couple more.
Yeah, certainly one of the exciting ones. The 200 breaststroke was really impressive. Julia Strine. The 500 freestyle. We saw Gabby McKee with an impressive finish, but all around, especially that last one before we went to break for the 1 meter diving, the 100 butterfly.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing. That was great work by Abby Daniel to secure that for the Zips. But, yeah, I mean, even the events like the 200 backstroke where Maddie Control dominated, that was very entertaining to watch. And heat 2 of the 100-yard freestyle, Rebecca Reed versus Zita Zoki, that was also a very close race. I mean, there's been close races all day, and it's no wonder they're so close on points.
And coming up next after the 1 meter dive, too, we talked about the 400 IM. Ohio has not raced the 400 IM this season.
Yeah, that's going to be one thing where and Coach Mason talked about this on Wednesday, is they're going to throw a couple people that haven't done the IM in, obviously because they haven't swam it yet. But there's going to be a couple people that wouldn't traditionally do the IM that are going to be doing this. That's why you have to look at Heat 1 of the 400 IM. Gabby McKee is going to be doing it, and she is a distance swimmer. So I expect her to do pretty well in this event, but she hasn't swam it this year, and she hasn't swam it traditionally because it's not an event that they usually do. But it's good to get practice in this 400 IM because in the MAC championships it's going to be showing up again. Bro, you see my water?
They were never going to be able to.
See where my water went? Where my water went?
Here is Elizabeth Noble for Akron, set to dive. Now Paige Bush. Really nice dive there from Elizabeth Noble, getting an applause from her teammates and coaches. From an Ohio standpoint, it definitely will be interesting to see the growth of the diving program with Talisa Lemke, who is in her first full year as the diving coach, the 5-time MAC champion at Bowling Green.
Yeah, she's got plenty to work with, too, with 3 freshmen doing very, very well. I mean, she's revamping it in not even a year. I mean, she just got here and wasn't even planning really on being here.
Yeah.
She's here for film studies. So, I mean, she's got plenty of time to take over, take control of the locker room, try to figure out who's going to be the leaders going forward and how they can progress and help this young group of divers.
Yeah, Mason's eyes lit up. We gathered at least from when Talisa asked to volunteer.
I mean, he's got to be excited about it too from his end. I mean, if diving really starts coming together, it helps them out, eases a little bit of pressure off the swimming that he's been working on so hard constantly. I mean, it's really looking good for the Bobcat program.
All right, that wraps up the 6 rounds of the 1-meter dive after Laurel Smith finished just a moment ago. And we will take a quick break and get set up for two, and then the 200 freestyle relay. Don't go anywhere. You're watching this dual meet between Ohio and Akron live on Ohio Bobcats.
think that's Gabby McKee right there.
Yeah. All right, welcome back to the Ohio University Aquatic Center here in Athens. The home stretch, it is Heat 1 of the 400 IM. Alongside Zach Vogler, I'm Sam Hyman and our outstanding crew today as we get set for the first heat of the 400 IM featuring 4 swimmers. We have one late addition, Zach, so this is sort of the appetizer for what would be a very intense second heat.
Yes, and for those who have the heat sheet, I'm believing that all the exhibition swimmers are being moved to the Heat 1, and because I can see Gabby McKee behind the blocks right now, so I do not think she is swimming in this first heat. I think she'll be swimming in the Heat 2. So I'm assuming that everything is looking a little bit different on the heat sheet. I'm pretty sure the exhibition swimmers are going first in the first heat.
So for the order of strokes in the IM here, butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle.
Yes. So you start with fly, you go to the back, then you go to breast, and then you go to free. The only reason you don't do that in the relays is because you can't have a backstroker start when a butterflyer is going, because the backstroker has to be in the water, and the butterflyer would just hit the backstroker. So that's why backstroke goes first. Then they switch it up a little bit and do breast, fly, and then free. But for this one, yeah, you start out with a fly, then you go to the back, then you go to the breast, and then you go to free. So you're doing pretty much an open turn during those transitions from back to breast, fly to free. But, yeah.
There's a look at the head coach of the Akron Zips, rocking the visor game strong, Brian Parisi in his 11th season. A 2000 graduate of Ohio University, Brian Parisi. He also was a part of the 2008-2011 MAC championships for the Bobcats as an assistant coach / recruiting coordinator. He downplayed how good of a swimmer he was, too, by the way.
Oh, he was being modest. He definitely was pretty good here. I mean, they wanted to. He got the job here. I'm sure he did a great job. I mean, they won during his year swimming year, correct?
When he was on staff, Ohio won the 2008 and 2011 MAC championships.
Yeah, and every piece of the puzzle matters. They're trying to put together a team.
So this is, again, Heat 1 of the 400 IM. So a down and back for each of the strokes. Fly, back, breaststroke, and freestyle.
Yep, 100 yards of each stroke. So the turning really matters here, especially because for freestyle and backstroke, you do flip turns. But for fly and breaststroke, you do open turns. So you have to be really good at your turns to be able to do like all the ones you can, like all the different types of strokes. But it's also important when you're transitioning from those strokes, because there's some people that will do a flip during the backstroke, the breaststroke. Some people will tap and go. It really depends on your preference. But those turns mean a lot. Not only that, but you have to figure out, hey, this is my strong stroke during this race. Maybe I should go a little bit harder on this one and then save it when I'm doing like the backstroke or everything like that. So there's a lot that goes into the individual medley, especially when you're doing the 400.
400 intense because you're going down and back twice for each stroke.
For each stroke, yeah. Yeah, you got the flags over here, so that helps you out when you're doing the backstroke as well. For anybody that didn't know that, that's why the flags are there, so you're able to get your stroke count going into the wall. So it helps you out because you obviously can't see the wall when you're on your back. So you get the stroke count before you go into the meet, into the practice, whatever, and that helps you out with the backstroke.
So here we are with the final stroke, the freestyle, and the first 50 yards.
Yeah, you can see the teammates for Ohio cheering on their fellow swimmers in this event. A little bit easier because you can see them during the backstroke. So you know they're there cheering you on, helping you out, and obviously hoping you finish this race.
And you're exactly right, Zach. The exhibition swimmers did get moved to this heat. Gabby McKee, who was initially in Heat 1 for the 400 IM is in lane 7
Yep.
for the Bobcats in Heat 2 of the 400 IM.
Yeah, and I figured that they would do that as this race finishes up right here. Really close one right there between these two swimmers. Only off by 0.2 on the whole race.
So we'll try to get you an accurate order here for this second heat.
Oh, in lane 7, we're seeing a little, or lane 6, we're seeing a little bit of a nosebleed going on with in lane 7 with one of the swimmers. She is coming out right away. She's got a nosebleed, so I wonder if we're going to take some time. Maybe not. Maybe the officials won't see it. But, yeah, she's running to the locker room right now. She's got a nosebleed going on.
Hopefully that's taken care of ASAP. All right, so the order for the 400 IM Heat 2, Giovanni Capabianca, Akron, lane 2. Lane 3, Emily Ellsworth, Ohio. Lane 4, Kendall Craig, Akron. Lane 5, Morgan Croning, Ohio. Lane 6, Abby Daniel, Akron. Lane 7, Gabby McKee, Ohio. Lane 8, Akron, Joelle Vogelman. Lane 9, Ashley Sallows, Ohio. And lane 10, Astrid Halverson.
Yeah, this is going to be a great race here. I mean, that last heat was pretty close, but I'm assuming we're going to have one pretty close here. Really important because we got to watch. Gabby McKee is a distance swimmer, but obviously there's a lot more strokes than just freestyle in the individual medley. So we're going to see her do very well in this event.
Abby Daniel is off to a very slim lead right now in lane 6, being pushed pretty nicely by Gabby McKee.
And that's really important, too, for Gabby McKee because you know going into this that Abby Daniel is a very good butterflyer. She won the 100-yard butterfly earlier by a good margin, and she has really good underwaters that helps her keep that stroke going for a long period of time.
It's an absolute dogfight for third place right now, but right now it is Abby Daniel and Gabby McKee, 1-2 respectively, as we transition to 100 yards of backstroke.
Oh, yeah. Backstroke's going to be really important here. We're going to see a lot of people kind of overtake and lose here when we switch strokes. But
Gabby McKee and Abby Daniel seem to be pretty comfortable right now, but pay attention. Lane 4, Kendall Craig is closing in on Gabby McKee, as well as lane 3. And that's Emily Ellsworth.
Yeah.
And Emily Ellsworth coming into this meet, actually last season at the MAC Championships, held the fastest time in the 400 IM at 4:19.40. She's in lane 3 for the Bobcats.
Yeah, she's going to look to close this gap with Abby Daniel. The important thing with Abby Daniel, though, is looking at this race, is her underwaters are really good. So if you think about it, we saw this in the butterfly. She was going halfway underwater during the butterfly. So during this IM, as you can see, she did a very quick turn there from the back to the breast.
And the breaststroke right now, Emily Ellsworth's best stroke.
Yep.
So we'll see if she's able to take advantage here in lane 3, surging past lane 4, Kendall Craig.
Yeah, this is going to be the most important event. Not to hate on any backstroker or freestylers, but traditionally swimmers can do those strokes more effectively. The breaststroke, however, that's where people have issues. And maybe someone like Abby Daniel might not be as good. But watch lane 3 right here. We are seeing some great stroke from lane 3.
Emily Ellsworth is closing in on Abby Daniel.
Yeah, Gabby McKee staying strong in lane 7. This is a really close race, and this freestyle is really going to matter.
This is about to be the final turn for the breaststroke. 25 yards.
Oh, look at that
back.
turn. So he might be coming out ahead here at the turn. It's going to be close. She's got to finish here, and then she's got to save some for the 100 free.
Emily Ellsworth came in with the 5th fastest time this season in the MAC in the 100 breaststroke, and she has taken the lead by a little bit over Abby Daniel. We're done with the breaststroke. Freestyle 100 the rest of the way. Unbelievable right now. Abby Daniel and Emily Ellsworth competing hard for first place. Gabby McKee is not too far behind.
Yeah, it is a very close event. You can see the sidelines for Ohio University. They are going crazy. Coach Mason putting his arms up. He wants this win. He wants it bad.
As 50 yards to go. Emily Ellsworth against Abby Daniel with the final 25-yard push about to happen on this turn. Here's
Yeah, the crowd is standing up behind us. It is getting loud and noisy. See how much she has left in the tank.
Abby Daniel has taken the lead. Less than
look at the
25 yards. Emily Ellsworth pushing hard. It's going to be very close to the line. It looks like Daniel may have just got there for Akron.
Yeah.
Wow.
She had to be sweating there a little bit near the end. That was a close race. That was a great performance by both swimmers.
Abby Daniel 4:24.88. Emily Ellsworth 4:25.42. Less than a second separated the first and second place finishers. And a fourth place finish goes to Akron.
And that difference between backstroke and breaststroke was really, really crazy there. To see Ellsworth come from behind, basically, from the backstroke.
Quick look at Mason Norman, who brought a ton of energy just a moment ago during that 400 IM, along with his assistant coach, Ethan Curl, who was in his first season on staff. Curl to the right, Norman to the left with the pen and paper. As we transition, Zach, to the final event of the day. It is the 200 freestyle relay. Ohio's A team in lane 5, Akron's A team in lane 6. It's down and back for each person in this 4-person relay. It's going to be fast.
Oh, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be, theoretically, it should be close. There's not that much difference between too many swimmers in the freestyle, so they're going to be looking to be pretty close. It's going to be fractions of seconds.
Zeta Zoki leads off for Ohio in lane 5. Maddie Gattrall, the NCAA qualifier, leading off for the Zips in lane 6. And it is Zeta Zoki with a statement to start off this relay.
Yeah.
She touches the wall first.
That was quick, and that was a flat start, too. So when you're doing the relay, there's a difference between the flat start. Yeah, she went at 23.84 that first split. That off a flat start. She's not winding up and diving like the other swimmers are in this event.
All right, next up, we've got Meg Voigt for Ohio and Rebecca Reed for Akron. Meg Voigt keeping the lead Ohio's direction in lane 5. As we transition to leg 3, it's Caroline Dunnigan for Ohio in lane 5, Mia Latimer in lane 6 for Akron. And right now the Bobcats have the advantage.
It's going to be a close one. It's going to come down to the end right here.
Coming down to the anchor, which will feature Mackenzie Grau against Brienne Trumpauer. The Bobcats trying to pull off this victory to cap off this dual meet.
Mackenzie Grau won the 50 yard freestyle earlier today. Looks like she's going to try to keep this lead going, finishing this relay.
Grau is Ohio's school record holder in the 200 freestyle. She can swim when she's tired. She doesn't look tired right now. Mackenzie Grau finishes off the 200 freestyle relay, and the Bobcats take first place with a time of 1:33.73, 4 seconds faster than the Zips' fourth place finish and 2 seconds faster than the Zips in second.
Yeah, that was a great race. It's seconds difference between first and fourth and fifth. It is crazy how hard that relay went, and Mackenzie Grau did a great job of anchoring on that one.
Ohio takes first and third place in the 200 freestyle relay. Akron finishes in second. And you've got to give a ton of credit to Zeta Zoki for really setting the tone in that race.
Gained the lead, and then they didn't lose it. That was a flat start for her too. And she did a great job of securing that lead and getting a great time for that 50-yard.
You know, one thing worth mentioning, we did not see Abby Daniel in that relay for Akron.
No, we did not.
Are you surprised by that?
I'm not so surprised because I think the coach for that one was more leaning towards the 400 IM for
Yeah.
Abby Daniel to get that,
Yeah.
so that she wouldn't be able to participate in the freestyle relay as much. But I feel like the coach for the Zips, they thought it out. And they're like, I think it would be a better idea for you to do the IM than the relay.
Wow, what an exciting finish to this dual meet as the Bobcats pretty pumped here. We don't know
Yeah.
officially what the results are, but we did know going into the 1 meter dive, Ohio had 143 points and Akron only had 101 points. So we will see what happens. Keep it locked to Ohio Athletics for the official update on the result. But that does it for us here at the Ohio University Aquatic Center. For my broadcast partner, Zach Vogler, I'm Sam Hyman, and our outstanding crew today. We say so long from Athens, Ohio. The Bobcats and the Zips conclude a dual meet here in early November. Thanks for watching.